Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the White Belt MMA podcast, and it's an absolute pleasure to have on the show today Cage Titans amateur flyweight champion Tyler Smythe, who set the fight at Cage Titans 55 on August 27th. He's going for champ status against Arthur Mpofu for the Bantamweight title. So, first question, Tyler, how you doing today, my man?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Yeah, man. So, I've been wanting to get you on, man, especially after I saw that last fight against Poirier, man, that, your grappling, man, is just next level, right? But, it's our first time talking here. And, the one thing I always like getting, the one question I always like, asking people when they first get on is, how did they get their start in the sport, right? Some people, they stumble upon it. Other people, they got it in through family. So for you, man, what was your story?
Honestly, it was just wrestling as a kid. I loved wrestling. Didn't really get too far in it. It was just youth wrestling, middle school. Didn't do any high school or college wrestling, and just I always wanted to get back in wrestling, and there wasn't anything to do. You know what I mean for next level wrestling if you didn't go to college. So next thing, I found a local gym near me, and Evolution was it, and started off and just learning all the tools, learning all the martial arts, and slowly putting it all together.
Yeah, man. And I do have to ask there too, right? Like, how you said, right? You did wrestling, right? You were trying to find like the next step, right? So for you,
Yep.
Was MMA always like, when you were trying to figure that out, was MMA like always like kind of like the career goal for you? Like, was there like a specific moment that you're like, oh, I
mean,
saw this specific fight that I was like, you know what? Let me give this a try.
yeah, man. I grew up watching UFC just like any other fighter in the sport. But yeah, just growing up watching UFC, watching Chuck Liddell growing up. That was my main guy when I was young. But yeah, it was always in the back of my mind. I never really had the training, obviously, which is wrestling. But yeah, it was always in my head.
Yeah, 100%. We're friends and family. Were they kind of like, yeah, man, we kind of expected Tyler to go down this route?
Yeah.
No, yeah, 100%, man. So, once you get into the gym, right? You like you said, you went into Evolution and
Yep.
basically just been learning martial arts since then, man. So, tell us about those first couple experiences, right? Because I know obviously you had wrestling as your background, right? But like,
Yeah.
just getting thrown right into MMA, I'm assuming it's a whole different experience and just it's like it's a shock for most. So, was that the case for you?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know a lick of jiu-jitsu. I did never sparred before in my life before joining Evolution. Like the only thing I had was wrestling and just that gritty go. So that's kind of what really kept me here, being the nail for months and months and months until I could finally start being the hammer and doing what everyone's doing to me to everyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about that, right? Like, for months and months, you're the nail. Eventually, you became the hammer, and I'm assuming that's when you're like, okay, I think it's time to get our first fight under our belt. So, was it you that took that decision, or was it your coaches that was like, hey, man, Tyler, you're ready. Let's get you in there.
That was all my coach Nate Libby.
Mm,
I came in here talking to him, telling him that hey, I want to fight, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know about that."
mm,
I didn't even get to train with the team for probably my first year at the gym.
mm.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot to join the team around here. Just got to work hard, show them that you really want it, put in the work. Everyone sees you put in the work, so everyone talks, and they decided that it was time to make that step in the cage and see where I can take this.
Yeah, man. And tell us about that, man. How was the first experience, walking to the cage, man? Were the nerves there, or were you just like, hey, man, just another day in the office?
Oh yeah, there was definitely nerves.
Yeah.
Nerves like I've never had before in any other fight. It was just like that, just an amped up feeling, just ready to go. But ever since then, it's even out back before the fights, the lead up to the fights, the whole training camp. It's nice, smooth, calm. Not like it was the first time, but
No, yeah, 100%, man. And like, man, eventually you started racking up wins, man, and you actually ended up getting some titles, right? So obviously you got the Cage Titans title, but you also got some other regional titles under your belt too, man. So like, in that case too, man, like, how does it feel knowing that like, ever since you started, MMA like a couple years back, now you already have two regional belts under your belt. Like, is that just like a, fulfilling feeling knowing that like everything that you're doing, all the work you're putting in every day is finally starting to pay off?
Absolutely. It just gives me more confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I already had confidence like in the beginning, but just be able to beat these top local guys and really, you know what I mean? Just being able to beat these top local guys definitely gives me more confidence. Be like, okay, what's next? Who's next? Like, never satisfied. I never had a fight where I'm like, oh, okay, like always in the gym trying to get better after every fight. I want to fight the best guys around, and that's what we've been doing, and we've been having success. So we're just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, 100%, man. And you said it right there, right, man? You always try to find what's next, and what's next for you,
Yeah.
man, is August 27th. Cage Times 55 against Arthur Mpofu. You're going for the bantamweight title, man. You're going for champ status. So,
Yes,
again,
sir.
it's such a quick turnaround because you just fought last month. So, what came, by the decision was it, a joint effort between you and your coach that you're like, man, it's time to move up, or was it kind of like you said there, man, like for you personally, you're always just trying to find what's next.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
really, there's really just no other flyweights around besides Nate Russell that's willing to fight, and like Nate's fucking the number one guy right now for flyweight for amateurs. So,
Mhm.
and we couldn't really line that up. I tell my coach after every fight, I'm like, "What's next? Who's next?" I'd fight every weekend if I could. Honestly, that's just what I like to do.
Yeah,
But yeah,
100.
but moving up, honestly, was just because there's no one left for flyweight in my regular weight class, and I didn't even. I've been talking to him about it just because I hate cutting weight.
Yeah.
Cutting weight sucks, and 35 is not really a huge cut for me.
Mhm.
I haven't talked anything about Arthur. Or I woke up one morning getting ready for work. He sent me his Tapology page and said, "This is who you fighting." I didn't ask any questions. I said, "Let's go."
Yeah, 100%. And like you said it right there, man. Obviously, if it's cool to ask, man, like, how much would you be cut into 135 as opposed to, you cut into 125?
Still about 10, 15 pounds,
Mhm.
but still, that's an extra 10 pounds I don't got to cut.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, I do have to ask now, right? That we're talking about cutting weight, man. That first meal after that weigh-in, man. What's the first meal? I always like asking that question to fighters too, man. What's the
Mhm.
go-to plate to after you make weight, everything's good, everything's set
Yeah.
for fight night. What's the food
Oh,
food on the menu?
always snacking on fruit as soon as I get off the scale. But the first meal I'd say is definitely some kind of pasta. It's a tradition around here. We always go to a Italian place right after weigh-ins, get a good meal in, get a sweat in after, go to bed, wake up, have a nice breakfast, have a little lunch, and then time to fight.
There you go. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Like I said, that's always a question I like asking fighters too, right? But a little fun
yeah,
question. But to obviously bring it
yeah.
back to the fight, man. Like I know you said they gave you the name Arthur. You didn't know much about him. You just saw the typology. You're like, whatever, man. I'm in. But
Yep.
obviously, I'm asked the stereotypical question that journalists ask the fighters is, man, on August 27th, man, how do you see the fight going?
Same way I put up Poirier. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. I think the pressure is going to be too much. I don't think he's going to be able to handle it. Whether it hits the ground, whether you guys I haven't really got to showing off my striking very much, but I'm sure he thinks I'm going to wrestle right away. But we'll see. I'm confident wherever the fight goes.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. And yeah, man, like I said, it's like, you get past Arthur, right? Not obviously not to look past him, right? But like, everything goes well on August 27th.
Yep.
You still go to a couple months left of 2022. Is your goal to, obviously get another fight in there? I know you said you can fight every weekend if you can, man, but is that the goal, or is it kind of that
Yeah,
time that you're kind of like, tamper down a little bit and see from there? Yeah.
we already have fights lined up for after this.
Mm.
Where we are heading back to Indiana in October, and then back in Portland for NEF in November, and then that's going to finish up the year for us. But yeah, we'll see. I'd like to make that jump, but it's all up to my coaches.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm gonna be there in attendance on August 27th, so
Awesome,
definitely gonna
awesome.
say hi to you if I see you, man. So,
Yes, sir.
Tyler, like I said, you're a busy guy. You're in preparations for your fight, so I don't want to keep you for too long. So, before we go, do you want to plug in all your social media so everyone watching can go and follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, Tyler Smythe 01. That's about it for all I use for social media.
Right, man.
Excited to get it going. Excited to put on a show for the fans. Excited to take that belt. Take that belt home.
100%, man.
Add another one to the case.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I can't wait. I'm sure everyone that's watching can't wait. So if you haven't gotten your tickets, man, get your tickets from Tyler. Get your tickets from the Cage Signs website. Make sure to be there in attendance. If not, buy the pay-per-view. Man, any bit helps the fighters. So Tyler, again, go on.
I appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, and hopefully we can do it again in the future. Hopefully we can talk about it after. Hopefully everything goes well on August 27th. And
Yeah, most definitely.
yeah, my man. So once again, thank you, and to everyone watching, man. Peace.